Hey everyone, thanks for clicking on my video. In the last episode, we created this crazy guy. I sketched him out in pencil, came back in with Sharpie marker, and then finished him off in acrylic. As promised, in this video, I plan on putting on a really beautiful background, and at the end of the video, I've got some technique to put in some eye-popping lightning that I think are really gonna make this thing pop. So let's get started. So I'm gonna start off using this masking paper. I get this stuff at the sign shop, and what they use it for is backing for vinyl cut lettering on the plotter. I like this stuff because it's a lot like masking tape. It's not quite as sticky, but you can mask your work off all with one big piece. A lot like Frisket. And as a note, it definitely sticks better to smoother surfaces. If you use a nice sharp blade with not too much pressure, this stuff just cuts like butter. Okay, so there's the monster mask. Next step, let's start spraying. And before I do, I always wear a respirator. There's really nothing funner than opening a brand new paint mask. Oh yeah, some assembly required. So we'll start out with this metalizer. As you'll see later in the video, this stuff looks really cool in the sun under the clear. Kind of give you an idea of where this thing's headed. So let's hit this thing with a quick clear coat just to kind of hold that metallic in place while we airbrush and do the rest of our work. Okay, I think that's it for the base. Let's get started on some airbrush. Okay, for this trick, always save your tin cans. I tried this with a plastic cup, the bottom melted out, and I don't have those jeans anymore. So I'm just using a candy blue anodized spray paint. I like using spray paint in the airbrush because the consistency is perfect and it cleans up real easy with lacquer thinner. I guess as a qualifier, spray paint works great on wall art. I really wouldn't use it on automotive stuff, just it doesn't have the ability to hold up. But since this is just wall art, it works just fine. I've used this stuff for a lot of years and it holds up great as long as it's not out in the sunlight. Okay, so the airbrush I'm using is an Iwata Eclipse HP, and the cup's up on top as you can see. I've used a lot of different airbrushes over the years, but this one here has really just turned into my workhorse over the last few years. I really enjoy it. It's super easy to maintain and get parts for. It's just a quick sunbeam effect that I'm using here with a straight edge. It's going to mostly be covered up with Pinstripe anyways, as you'll see in the next part of the video. Okay, so next will just be this candy purple. The contrast of the blue and purple look really cool against the green. So Mary Shelley was only 18 years old when she wrote the book Frankenstein. I find that pretty amazing for something that's lasted this long. So most people refer to this guy as Frankenstein, but actually the only name he was ever referred to was Adam, or the monster. Frankenstein was actually the doctor's name who created him. Okay, one of my favorite parts, the big reveal. Whoa, there he is! Alright, time to put up the mask and get to the really interesting part. Here we go. Oh, listen, this sounds cool. Okay, enough of that. So, it's time to give credit where credit's due. This technique right here is something that my wife Roswell used in some cityscapes that she did. She used this stuff in the windows, and when the light would hit it, it would reflect off and look like the lights were on. She gracefully gave me permission to use her technique on this piece and put it in my video, so I'm really thankful. Shout out to Art by Roswell. One of the greatest artists I know. Not to mention how cool it is having a studio together. This stuff is some kind of a mylar duct tape. It's very temperamental, and I had to use an extremely sharp razor blade to cut it with. So Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was written in 1818, and no one knew that it was written by a woman until 1831, when she had made some revisions and re-released it under her own name, Mary Shelley. She said the name Frankenstein came to her in a dream. Okay, I'll whip out a quick border in some beautiful metallic blue, and then it'll be time to throw down on some resin. This stuff will set up overnight, and by tomorrow morning we'll be ready to do some pinstriping. Okay, time for some Frankenstein green pinstriping on this thing. Oh yeah! And in tribute to Frankenstein's big old square noggin, I think I'll put in some of my square style pinstriping on this guy. Should look pretty interesting. So I'd appreciate it if you'd like my video. It really helps my channel grow. And if you subscribe, there's going to be a lot of information coming down the road on art and techniques, and there'll be a lot of information on tools and how to use them, techniques, how to draw, how to paint, this versus that, all kinds of different stuff that I use, and I think you'll have a really good time and a great learning experience. Each video will be kind of a little adventure in itself. So if you have any questions on anything in the video, feel free to put it in the comments. I love that kind of stuff. I'll do my best to reply back to you with the best answer possible. So the first film adaptation of Frankenstein was in 1910. It was a 16-minute short by Edison Studios. And the electricity that brought Frankenstein to life was proudly delivered through the use of Tesla coils. And most of the general public had never even seen Tesla coils until they were brought to action in a 1931 film. So I've had a lot of fun making this video. I hope you guys all enjoy it. And until next time, just remember, no matter what kind of day you're having, you probably don't have neck bolts to tighten. Robb Rocket, over and out.